I mean, it's similar to like how like movies kind of revolutionized entertainment in the early 1900s. You know, like you go from like going to see plays or going to see live musical performances to now you've got moving pictures. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how many have really that really changes our traditional perceptual habits, but it's just with video games though, man. It's like you have this whole new entire worlds to explore. I mean, they can change your perceptions and how on lots of different issues and lots of different things. I mean, especially and if you want to talk about perceptual habits, I mean, think about the moral choices you make in video games.
Wow, game time for our people.
The moral choices you have to make in a game. Do you kill this person or not? Will drastically different from what you would normally do in real life. It's like in a video game you're free to be a homicidal maniac, whereas in real life that's generally frowned upon.
That's a great soundbite.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can be a superhero, you can be a ninja, you can be all these different things, and
You can be a homicidal bunny thumper and wild.
I mean, you could.
Intergalactic rape machine.
Do kill bunnies every now and then.
Intergalactic rape machine. 29.
You can literally be whatever
Yeah, it did a squeal.
you want, and
Okay.
that can kind of changes your perception of who you can even think of yourself as a person. I mean, how many times have you ever played a game and done something like really cool and thought to yourself, man, I'm a badass? How many times are you going to walk through your life, do something and say, man, I'm a badass? Not very often. In your regular everyday job, not going to happen. But you go home, turn on Xbox, PlayStation, what have you. You go in there and you save like an entire galaxy from destruction.
Thank you.
Shit, I'm a badass. Just.
Every day.
Alright. Sound like you're having a
I'm not trying to say that video games instill confidence in anybody or in yourself or anything, but there are certain things that are affect the outside world, so to speak. Somebody might be really good at a competitive fighting game. I mean, it necessitates a social experience, and it necessitates being basically a badass in real life. It can make you feel good about yourself. It may not ultimately raise your self-esteem.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, at the end of the day, you're still a video game nerd.
Yeah. Proud of it.
Generally, the self-esteem is not very high.
You're still gonna go home to your mother.
Especially considering, up until recently, video games really weren't, they're not mainstream. I mean, I would say they're mainstream these days, almost, but just not quite. They're not over that, hump to where they're acceptable to everybody. We still have these old fogies that, video games are bad for you, like that rock and roll gyrating your hips music. It's conceptually the same thing. Music, in the 50s and 60s, music was corrupting the entire generation. Now it's video games. It's certainly, you can't point the finger at TV or movies for glamorizing, thug behavior and being, oversexed and underfed. And, that's just the way it is. I mean,
Some things will never change.
Basically what I'm trying to say is you should actually blame those other media because whereas, yes, there are certain video games that are completely objectionable. Completely. They're certainly not contributing to the moral decline in this country. If you want to take a look at the moral decline, take a look at the E! Entertainment channel. You can't tell me that's not leading to decline of civilization as we know it.
Video games.
Whenever there's a show about a group of girls who go around with tanning spray, tan people, fuck. Hold on.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know.
There.
But see, in terms of being a new vision, I think, video games do have that, they do have this ability to change the entire world. I mean, if you take a look in far future. I mean, how far are we truly from like, completely immersing ourselves in worlds? I mean, we already have people who will play World of Warcraft for, days at a time, willing to sacrifice their health to play a game. How soon till, our health is tied to a game of some kind?
People died playing StarCraft.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you're as a gamer, you read about all these different things, like, a guy in Korea who will play StarCraft and not eat, will defecate on himself, will, urinate on himself, not move for days on end, and eventually will die from heart failure. Either that or shame. Just complete self.
Defecation?
I mean, it's just really completely just disgusting. People could take it to that extreme. However, why are they taking it to that extreme? Because the real world is no longer their world. The game world is theirs. Their perceptions have been irrevocably changed.
Yeah.
They can't exist outside of that game world. They don't feel the need. Everything is in the game, in there. I mean, I would use the cliche we're standing on the precipice of a brave new world, but that's just dumb.
Sounds really gay.
It does sound really gay, but really, think about whenever all these old bastards die off that think video games are these horrible, corrupting agents. And think about whenever they die, and people of our generation who have grown up with video games, who, appreciate them, play them. Now we're
There'll
the
still
ones
be a segment of video games that's frowned upon, just like metal is still a segment of rock that's frowned upon. Playing
Exactly.
anymore.
But whereas video games are a real hot button issue now. I mean, because you have school shootings that are blamed more on video games than anything else, despite the fact that the guys from Columbine listen to extremely aggressive music, outside of just plain Doom. I mean, all that's a contributing factor. All of these things desensitize us. It's not just video games desensitized to violence. It's gruesome images on the news. It's, excessive amounts of gore in movies like, Hostel and Saw.
Well, if the world's shades of gray and it's not black and white, then there can't be one problem.
Exactly. But see, in the media and the way the world wants it to be is that everything is black and white. There's only B, A, or B. There is no C. There's no middle ground. Either you're conservative or you're liberal. You're Republican or Democrat. You're, I don't know, hand tossed or pan. It's like there's no. We have all these false dilemmas in this world, where you're confronted with only two choices whenever more than two choices exist. You have to change how you look at things. You can't. Somebody offers you want this apple, this orange, and you're like, I want a banana. I don't want either one.
Have a cherry.
There you go. You want a cherry?
You can have a
cherry.
piece.
Want a peach? Have a peach. You should reach out and grab what you want, take what you want.